3-2. Welcome back. WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and WNST.net. All of our coverage brought to you by our friends at LifeBridge Health Sports Medicine Institute. This next segment's going to get
We're
tricky.
Already fighting before we even went on the air.
It's always the same.
Put up the Dukes.
Look, it's always the same. Whether it's Bettis, Hines Ward, Tomlin, Rocky Blyer, Bradshaw, anybody's a Steeler sits here, and it always comes back to the time that you won and we didn't win.
Yeah.
Santonio Holmes, welcome to the building.
Yes, thank you, guys. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You don't mean that.
No doubt. No doubt.
This
is all love
You
here.
did not come here to praise Baltimore. You came here to give a – you know what? I should tell you, there's a little chink in the armor right now with the Steelers, right? Where they are with Antonio, where they were with Le'Veon. This might be where it start getting a little lopsided, maybe going the other way. No.
The organization has been established for over almost 80-plus years.
Here he goes. Where's the ring? Come on.
It's not going anywhere.
This is when he brings up 6 rings for the Steelers.
It's not going anywhere. The organization's not going anywhere. They're not going to bend a break for anybody, and that goes to speak for myself in general, being traded, out of mid-conversation that, hey, you're now a New York Jet and you're no longer a Pittsburgh Steeler. And to have that conversation, thrown in your face was no disrespect. It was all business.
It is
and
a business.
And that's exactly what this is. This is just a business decision in how the Pittsburgh Steelers handle their business.
It is an interesting time, though, because Ben is at an age where, okay, he might play a couple more years.
Been through for 5,000 passing yards this season.
I get it. Believe me, I get it. But he is closer to the end than the beginning, though.
Did Drew Brees throw for 5,000 this year?
Well,
answer the question. Yes or no?
See, he would have if the other quarterback wasn't running around, but yeah.
But did Drew Brees throw for 5,000 this year?
No.
Is Drew Brees older than Ben Roethlisberger?
He is.
Was Drew Brees almost in the Super Bowl?
You still
you're
defending Ben, man.
Why not?
You're a Ben guy. It's good. I love the loyalty.
He retired a Steeler. Right now.
He
signed the one-day contract.
He's our God. He's been to 3 Super Bowls. He did what Terry Bradshaw did.
Bottom line, were you inbounds or out of bounds?
This is what the Steelers organization. This is what the Steelers organization is all about. It builds that one guy that's going to be their rock. And 7 is that rock. He's that guy that sits that mantle, for the rest of those guys that, hey, you guys want to win championships, you guys want to be successful, come and join on. We got the recipe,
recipe?
Don't feed into all the hype, because being in the playoffs every year is one step closer to always getting to the Super Bowl every year.
What were your impressions of him as a leader? Because that's one thing we hear from as outsiders. The questions about how he got along with Antonio, how he gets along with his teammates. He's at times he has publicly criticized teammates. I mean, he has to own those comments. What were your impressions of him as a leader playing with him all those years?
If you can't publicly criticize your teammate and him standing up and owning up to the fact that your teammate is holding you accountable, that I'm not going to sugarcoat for you right now, that should be accepted by any and every man, known to God. That it doesn't matter that it happens on public, watch that the media doesn't feel or someone questioning or answering doesn't feel that is the right type of response that he should give at that moment. They have not spent any day in that locker room. They have never been inside those meeting rooms, inside that huddle. They have never traveled on that bus inside those away locker rooms and cried together and had those moments. So for a leader to step up, Ben has matured into the organization guy that they have been looking for, which is why he is still the guy, no matter who and how much they say that he should be replaced at this time.
We share a mutual love of Mike Tomlin. Mike and I are dear friends.
Coach T's been in the playoffs just about every year he's been in as a head coach. But guess what everyone talks about on the media? Coach Tomlin should be fired because the team didn't play well. Well, guess what? The players didn't play well. At the end of the day, the players did not play up to their potential. And all the coach has to do is sit back and accept the fact that he did not get the job done with the guys that he trusted to get the job done.
You said recipe a minute ago. We got a legend here. I got glasses almost as nice as yours here. You like to eat?
Yes.
This guy eats stuff that I would. Andrew Zimmern, first off, pleasure. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you very much.
Making a few minutes. You
How
mentioned he's a champion. It pains us in Baltimore to admit this. This is why he's visiting us.
Well, I sat down. I walked over, and I have a big fan for a long time.
Thank you so
great
much.
to finally meet you.
Thank you.
But I walked over, and while Santonio was talking, I looked at you and I went, Santonio Holmes. What the?
There we go.
I mean, come
There we
on.
go. Got my guy.
So here we are. You know, you're here promoting Taste of the NFL. Wayne Kostrowski is also a dear, dear friend of mine.
Yeah.
Many years in Minnesota. I want to give you a chance to promote what you're promoting as well, because I know you're doing a little hit and run here.
Well, it's, I think I've been now to 12 of the last 14 Super Bowls, and I do a lot of work with NFL charities, a lot of work with a lot of organizations that are here, but my greatest joy has become working on hunger security or insecurity issues, depending on how you want to look at it, over the last 10 years, because I think we're selling the wrong set of romantic notions about food to the wrong people. You know, in America in the 21st century, in the greatest country in the history of the world, that 20% of our kids are food insecure is not an embarrassment, it's shameful. And I've been privileged to work, I'm a board member of Taste of the NFL, where we do hunger relief in 32 NFL cities, 365 days a year with our Kick Hunger Challenge, hashtag Kick Hunger Challenge, one night a year, the night before the Super Bowl, at a big event with Hall of Famers, current players, former players,
it's a wonderful
chefs
event
from 32 cities. I mean, it's a tentpole event that raises a lot of money for a great cause.
Can I give love to Nancy Longo, who for 25 years, Nancy at Pure Point's our dear friend. She fed my wife when my wife was fighting for her life and sending food over to the hospital. My wife had leukemia. So, Nancy, bring it on. We're going to come eat your crab cakes, sweetie.
Incredible people. And Baltimore is always well represented there.
Because we got great food.
You do have great food.
Because you love it.
I do love it.
He's a Steeler, and he eats crab cakes.
I've made a lot of TV in Baltimore. I've made a lot of TV in Pittsburgh. It's a wonderful part of the world to eat, and actually two cities. Pittsburgh, probably one of the most underrated, maybe the hottest food town in the country right now.
Wow.
Incredible.
Sixburg.
There's incredible
No, but we're
food.
going to call it Sixburg. Like, it's not Pittsburgh, it's Sixburg.
Oh, I like that.
Who knew you could do
very
this
nice.
by putting coleslaw and French fries on a sandwich?
That's Sixburg. That's what we're doing.
But that's
Sixburg, baby.
It's not just the heritage restaurants there. It's what the young chefs are doing there. I would put up Justin Severino as a chef. He has a couple restaurants in town against anyone in the country. Like Minneapolis a couple years ago when we were sort of the hot thing. Pittsburgh is growing in depth and breadth. Physically, Baltimore and Pittsburgh have something. One has hills and valleys with neighborhoods separated by, chasms, right?
Yes.
The actual topography of the ground keeps neighborhood food vibrant and alive, and that kind of hurts the tourist in terms of seeking things out, but the word is out. Baltimore is the same issue with water. If you're not from there, you don't know how to navigate literally your way around so you can hit enough places, because the food scene in both towns is lit. And by the way,
next time you're in Baltimore,
incredible representation
I could take
of
you
chefs. I mean, chefs in both cities, not just Taste the NFL, but a lot of other hunger relief organizations that I work with, have given so much of their time to it. Here's the deal. To whom much has been given, much is expected. So, whether you have a long and storied athletic career, whether you're lucky enough to be in the media business, whether you're lucky enough to be on TV the way I have, if you're not using your platform for good and to make a change in the world, I think something is wrong with you. You got to give back. And
yes.
the reason I'm happy in life is when I'm doing work for someone else, I'm not thinking of my own problems. Every single one of us, the three of us, everyone listening at home, life is fired at point blank range, right?
No.
We all lose parents, kids get sick, spouses get. This is the reality of life. But you have to do things in life so you can match that calamity with some measure of serenity. And I think there's no better thing that because everyone says, well, what can I do to make a better world a better place today? Saying, go volunteer 2 hours at a food shelf. Go bring a bag full of canned goods somewhere. Help somebody, sprinkle them with dignity and respect that a hot meal gives. We don't need to make food for more 1%ers. There's lots of fancy restaurants, and lots of those people have access to great food. Let's focus on people on the opposite end of the food chain who have less. For
you as a player, this is obvious. The Steelers preached this to you,
this
right?
Is interesting.
I'm sure on Thanksgiving Eve you were out doing all the things that players in this league do.
Yeah.
That, it's nice once a year to come together and have people like you meet people like you to do good things.
No doubt.
Well,
no doubt.
There's some organizations that place a higher priority on giving back to the community than others. Pittsburgh famously for it.
Yes.
But I will also tell you, NFLPA, other NFL-related groups place a premium on that as well. And when you look at, there's a reason why that Walter Payton Man of the Year award is so important to the NFL players, but also, sorry to get too NFL geeked out.
No, please do.
But also as a national award. Everyone knows about it. It's not because they're players. I mean, the majority of people who win that award are not what I would call like the super marquee, guys that are rolling up player of the year stats. I mean, occasionally it is, but it's guys who, chop wood and carry water for their team, but give back to their community in a way that is truly unique. Yeah. And I get kind of tired as someone who's had an opportunity, especially in Minnesota, to be friends with pro athletes. Well, Matt is amazing.
We share him.
I'm close. I'm lucky to count him as a friend. But, all of the sports teams in our market, just like another market, give back so much. And, as a recovering person, as a global citizen, we see, on the news pictures of some people in my industry, some people in the sports world, and we make snap judgments about groups of a whole. I will tell you, my experience working with the NFL is that the vast majority of players have their priorities right and give back to their community in ways that I wish everyone would duplicate. And I get a little, that this cliche about the jaded athlete, while it comes from, a real place because I know it exists, I'm also sick and tired of the cliche becoming the truth. And the cliche that I'm most concerned about is the one that just because we have so much in this country, everybody is doing so well. There's an underclass in America that needs to be supported, and the best way to do that first is by feeding them. Then we need to get them jobs. Yeah.
Santonio Holmes, Andrew Zimmern here talking about life, food, football, rivalries, food rivalries, You
guys have the rivalry, although I will tell you.
We're making a difference.
I will tell you right now, as a fan, I circle the Ravens-Steelers games every single year, and there's a reason why they're broadcast as the game of the night or the game of the day or on Sunday night and Monday night all the time, because historically, you look back over the years, some of the best football games I've ever seen have been in that rivalry. It's unreal.
Well,
absolutely unreal.
I felt great about being in Minnesota last year. I felt horrible that the Vikings, what happened to them at the end.
It would have been a great, especially after the
really
Minneapolis Miracle, because to get into the game against the Eagles, remember Stephon Diggs had to make that incredible catch that I found out today. It's the 100th anniversary of the NFL coming up next season, and that is one of their 100 greatest plays.
Do you think I will make that list?
Oh, for sure. I've seen some of those grabs.
What do you think that play will make on the 100
I've
greatest
never
plays
watched
in the
it again.
history?
So I'm really.
Can I hold on for a minute? Because I love you, and I wish I had you. I got to take care of this because
do it.
This is Ravens
when the
talk.
Steelers win Super Bowls, I don't watch television. I don't watch the post game. I see Tomlin about 8 weeks later at the owners' meeting, and he comes over and he says, "What are we drinking tonight?" And you know what I'm talking about with Mike, because he'll get up on you. So every time you guys have won, I have refrained from watching the sports. Steelers fans, you've won the Super Bowl. And I can't watch ESPN. I don't watch. I watch Food Network.
It's some
I watch
rivalry.
Food Network. Is what I'll do.
That's what. Doesn't everyone?
Right. Exactly. Well, hey.
I love the Food Network. I'm always watching it.
Love your work. Love your passion. One day I hope to have a glass of wine and a crab cake.
I look forward.
Somewhere in the Chesapeake Bay Basin.
I look forward to that.
You're not going to invite me to that?
I don't know.
You're not going to invite me to that?
We can
dinner?
invite him.
I'm looking forward to you coming to the next parade we have with Lamar Jackson.
Ravens fans, you've won the Super Bowl.
And Andrew Zimmern here. You got a book, right? Tell me about the book.
Yeah, a kid's book. I wrote a book for kids because I want kids to learn those lessons. It's exciting, fun. It's a grade-level adventure reader. It's available on Amazon. You can go to andrewzimmern.com and get linked to any of the 10,000 ways to buy that book.
Anything you're doing you need to promote? Go ahead.
Oh, man.
Have at it.
This is MVP brand. We're having a bowling event tomorrow at Bowlmore here in Atlanta.
You're a bowler. A lot of guys. Bus is a bowler.
I like bowling.
Ray Lewis is
I like
a bowler.
bowling.
A lot of guys are bowlers.
Who doesn't like bowling? Anything
bowling.
where you keep score. Be honest. Come on. Come
Exactly,
on. You're
because
competitive.
you
to get to where you are, as an athlete, and I found this is true. I mean, even people in my breed, to get where we are, I'll play anything as long as we're keeping score. I'll play against you anything as long as we're keeping score.
Hey,
I'm not afraid of that. If we keep score, it's fun.
So I'm inviting you to my event tomorrow night, a bowling event.
His event's tomorrow night, too, though.
Oh, yeah, my
what time?
Taste of the NFL.
What time?
I got to be there like 5 till 10 p.m.
My event's from 2 to 6.
Ooh.
I'm coming.
Zimmern and I are kegging tomorrow afternoon here in Atlanta.
Bringing people together.
We're going to hang up. We're going to hang up our things.
The invite is on.
Yeah, I mean, I happen.
The challenge is on.
Sucker him in. I mean,
the challenge is on. The challenge is on.
Turkeys. I'm a 3-strike in a row guy. Like you wouldn't believe.
I once beat a pro.
Hey,
that's why they call it a turkey.
We have a prize. We have a prize where you get to bowl 5 bowls against me.
Oh, I love that.
So.
I love that. All right, fantastic.
Like a ringer.
No, he likes it. Did you see the way all of a sudden he's looking like, well, I'm just saying, you get to bowl 5. Doesn't have to say anything. Just, let it speak for yourself. I don't leave anything in the locker room.
Okay.
Just so you know.
You
can't stop me. You can only hope to
contain me. This is the greatest segment of radio I've ever done. I just want to get a chair. I just want to pull up, man.
I have my own shoes.
Hearing from the guy that talks about Food Network that the challenge is on. This is on. That's what's
You just sat down with a guy from Baltimore and you didn't know it was going to turn into this.
Exactly. This is what life is. This is what Super Bowl. This is what media Row is all about.
This is fellowship.
About camaraderie and building friendships and relationships and making a difference in the world and
guy
helping
from
inspire
Dundalk,
people.
Baltimore, Maryland.
That's what the MVP brand is doing.
People from around the world coming together. We didn't have to eat any bugs or anything.
No,
Andrew.
but Santonio, you put it really, really well. Everyone always says to me, "Aren't you tired of this thing?" And it's the flying and the hours. You get up early, you go to bed late, and I will tell you, the relationships from Super Bowl week and the opportunities that you have, because at some point we're not going to get to do this anymore.
No
and
doubt.
It's just like, enjoy it now. This is an incredible opportunity, and I've, the things I've been able to do and the places I've been able to go in my life, and then we just pass it on.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So I love your attitude.
I love coming here. I love being able to talk about the Steelers, about my journey and making it to the professional level and what's next for me in life and to deal with different challenges because the media doesn't get to ask these questions, at this point in time. We get to ask and answer these questions, for them, speaking on how we move forward in our lives and what we're doing. And the MVP brand is going to impact kids through excellence and motivating them. And that's what we want to empower the communities and the individuals like an MVP who's in high school and give him an opportunity to have a voice for his community and for the kids that are looking up to him and to build a platform for himself for the future.
Without a doubt.
In my town in Baltimore, we got a lot of challenges. I've sat here all week talking about that. Torrey Smith sat here and talked to me about that. He does
but it's gotten better. I've
been
in Baltimore every year for the last 20 years, and it keeps getting better and better.
Because
it
takes more with people.
You know what?
It takes more
you haven't
with
had your
people that
best
has the
trip yet because
confidence.
you haven't come hung with me yet.
Oh my
That's what it is. It's going to get better next time you come in.
Oh, my God. I'll tell you something. I have more confidence in Santonio's bowling game than I do in your food game, but I'm going to give you a shot. I'm going to give you a shot. I'm going to give you a shot.
This calls for a segment. I think this calls for a segment.
Going to give you a shot.
I think I should be the producer of this segment.
Where do we go for crab?
Well, I
Cakes.
Oh, see, he took too long.
You want a tour.